Hello, youth of Africa. Bonjour, youth of Africa. Youth of Africa, ni men hao. From the last greeting that I've just given you, you can realize that I do speak Chinese. I also do a lot of other things as a youth of Africa at 32 years of age. And today I am privileged to just come before you in this video and talk to you about those of us who are multi-talented. My name is Ruth Sarah Achieng and I welcome you to this session. Now, youth of Africa, did you know that some of us have been created to be able to do a diverse number of things at the same time? What I mean by this is that some of us, God has created specifically to be able to not only make an impact in the corporate world or in business, but we also have talents and giftings in terms of art and many other areas of life. What I mean by this is someone like King David, if we can talk about him. This was not only a king, thus making him a civic leader of Israel and the greatest, if I should add, but David was also a very gifted and talented musician. Up to this day, we as musicians still sit down and, work out of the work that David did. We actually borrow from his words to make very anointed music for those of you who are Christians. And apart from all of that, David was still known to, to be a good dancer. He really danced before the Lord, so much so that all of his clothes came out. For those who are aware of that story. So we see David as a very multi-talented person. He was so good with the pen in terms of songwriting. He danced so well. And also David used to play a harp or instruments. He actually made even instruments and, prescribed a specific way in which the people of Israel were to worship God in the temple. We are talking about a man who was a king. There's something else about David. David was a good soldier. He would fight. So we see a very multi-talented man in the word of God. And just to add, when he went to be anointed as king, he had actually been looking after his father's sheep. So he was also a very good shepherd. So some of us have been created the same way. I will give another example. Those of us who are familiar with T.D. Jakes, we know that he is a preacher, yes, a bishop and a pastor. But apart from that, T.D. Jakes is also a very good businessman. He is an entrepreneur. He spends a lot of time sitting down and inspiring people like you and me to, just go forth with business and do it and not just sit down and wait for employment. Apart from that, T.D. Jakes is also a very good public speaker, motivational speaker, and he has also written and produced several movies. He has also written books. So we see this one person is able to do so many things with his life at the same time. Youth of Africa, I'm coming before you today to inspire you that you may not be aware of it, but you could be multi-talented. And it is high time you used all of those talents. Let me tell you one great thing that can usher you into greatness. And that is the fact that if you do well with your gifts, those who take time to discover what their gifts are, what their talents are, what their abilities are, and you work on them, let me tell you, there is a guarantee in this world. Even though you may not have money now, even though you may not have enough followers, even though you may not have so many fans or people who appreciate what you're doing, but if you're sure that is what you can do, you're good at it, you're passionate about it, as long as you keep working on it and improving on it, there is a definite principle that operates which says your gift will make room for you and it will usher you into a space of greatness. I am saying this because around maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I finally got tired of a life of too much partying, drinking, and just having boyfriend after boyfriend and all of that. And when I got born again, I'm sorry, I'll not be afraid to be specific that my life changed completely when I became a believer. But bottom line, I'm still just encouraging all of us that once I settled down and was able to stop the life of too much drinking, just being lazy and lousy, having boyfriend after boyfriend and thinking the life was, dressing in the latest clothes and going to the most exclusive club and hanging around, the elite of some sort. That's how we used to look at it. When I stopped that kind of life and I became serious with my life, I discovered I was multi-talented. And I am so humbled to tell you right now that in my life as a 32-year-old, I work as an administrator in a public office in Kenya. So I am a civil servant. That is one. And the place where I work, I still work as an MC because we do a lot of events. And I didn't know I could MC. I will get back to you on how I discovered that I was an MC. I also write music with a bias to gospel music. I do write and produce music. I sing, I lead worship in church, and not just in the normal church that we know, but apart from that, I also sing in a Chinese church. So I lead worship in English, Swahili, and Chinese. Apart from all of this, I am an interpreter and a translator in Chinese. So maybe over the weekends or when I have time off work and when the opportunity is available, I can still work as a tour guide or something called a liaison interpreter or translator, where I walk around with Chinese businessmen or tourists around Kenya and I can interpret for them and just help them move around, and I still make money off of that. And I think apart from all of that, I'm also very good in the kitchen, especially during the COVID time. I was really thinking of starting a restaurant. If I had the capital, trust you me, right now I would be running a hotel, because by the grace of God, I have a way with, a way around the kitchen. I am a trained communication persons. That's something I learned during my undergraduate degree in Kenya. But then I also just found myself, let me use the word found, because I don't think I really calculated all these steps, but it has just been one thing after another. I found myself in an interpretation class, and I thought I was going to be taught just how to interpret, but it ended up being a detailed training in public speaking, in how to articulate your words, in word choice and all of that. And it has really helped me, guys, because apart from all of the things I've told you, I also preach the gospel. So I'm going to come to you in a second video and tell you and just share with you my journey. And I hope that from there you can be able to also extract information and see how you can also sit down and discover more about what you can do as a multi-talented person. God bless you. See you in the next video.